Busoga Kyabazinga dala ni Uganda etere mwaka sente isaife sima tina baby nizali kwemba lero mpawire irobozi tuso kusima kwange yaiwe mwene kuba babo tuleze era Basoga tulikirala baba tusimye chongero ndeke mumane baba ni baba Kyabazinga ziramu wakanya baba wife Kyabazinga bana baleyo baba ni baba Kyabazinga lazisa Busoga baba wife Kyabazinga Busoga wo matomoga kubanga woba webirunjo gaba ekituufo budabuda oyambye Busoga osomesa abaana wagaba di basare amasomero zimbye ofubya okulwanyisa obwavu babo zimbye institute abaana bali kwega ebyomutwe Busoga esimye wabudabuda Basoga mu biseera bya covid ng'ebyokulya ogula ate era wagaba byonna byonna obikoze yenze empaye nti Busoga ewulire ndeke muwane baba ni baba Kyabazinga ziramu wakanya baba wife Kyabazinga bana baleyo baba ni baba Kyabazinga lazisa Busoga baba wife Kyabazinga niwe nsirika embeire dogera litoli wa mugaso era wenkulinga kunguma eyongera akaseko niwaise bantu Kyabazinga waife ogeisa Obusoga butereire ebitongolo birese byatuwa buyambi bwatutasa baba sema nebaza omunene CEO wa Daleni mwami Daniel Kitimba webale Busoga ekusimye okuleeta Daleni Uganda ngetuyambye kutumbula ebyobulamu n'ebyobuyondo Busoga ebinze endala Kyabazinga twegaisa olimu era nsaba Kibumba akwongera enkabi otumbule Busoga etuuke kwewala niyo bitiro yongera osaka oleetere Busoga etumbuke niweise bantu nkobeise byalo alikuliza amazzi galitanga baba zendi kufaaka mwenu bongere mwengoma mbawemu waine ebyokuuza oleka ebizinga kankinemu omubiri bidodo leka numya ettaka eririndya okubya embeire naseka otairemu obuwoomi neiputi ofikisi okuba engoma mbeire tikiriza yemasogana
Down may go the forty, we lay our future in thy hands. United free for liberty, together we'll always stand. Tulibankabino yenga twesimyeno olwainaifona Busoga Kibumba eyatuwa olw'ekirabo ekyekikolo tweyimbenga Busoga tebenkerenga ensenense Tulibankabino yenga twesimyeno olwainaifona Busoga Kibumba eyatuwa olw'ekirabo ekyekikolo tweyimbenga Busoga tebenkerenga ensenense abantu mwena mu Busoga
Wenge twisaninga
tukulembere ise bantu
bano omutwe gwaife
babe tufuna omwoyo omwamufu
tugonzaganyenga
enina ya Uganda eno etebenkere Tulibankabino yenga twesimyeno olwainaifona Busoga Kibumba eyatuwa olwe ekirabo ekyekikolo tweyimbenga Busoga tebenkerenga ensenense.
This is Igenge Palace, olubiri olukulu olw'obwa Kyabazinga bwa Busoga. Ensonga edituleese edadi tukobera aye nga programu yaife oba agenda ekoba nti anthems okusaba ebyo byetumaze, then twida kuwuliraku okwogera okuva ewa Deputy Katuukiro wa Busoga Oweekitiibwa Osman Ahmed. Oluvannyuma abagenyi baife mubeeku ni kye mutukobera era tubeeku awo n'ebibuuzo oba a small discussion. Baba wanaasiima ayogere ku yetuli olukiiko lwaife lube nga lwegairwayo. Tusanga era ino okubabona era mu kaseera kano ndi kusaba Oweekitiibwa Osman Ahmed sebo oyogere ku y'abagenyi baife.
Oweekitiibwa Yudaya Babirye, Oweekitiibwa Ambassador Agnes Kalibala akulira ekitongole kya Busoga Education Initiatives, Oweekitiibwa Machora Joan, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Oweekitiibwa Mukembo James, Minister wa Youth, Oweekitiibwa Mayor wa Jinja Southern Division Nasa Ashraf, abagenyi baife abaviire mu Ubos n'abamawulire. Baba olwa abagenyi baife bano baba siima kyosemu ku olulimi tugemagane bulungi n'abagenyi baife. It's indeed a great morning or a great afternoon today to have you, our guests, led by the Executive Director from Uganda Bureau of Statistics, Your Highness, Ubos wrote a letter to your office and subsequently you directed me to respond to that letter, which was a request for a meeting which is happening here today. I want to thank you, Your Highness, for giving our guests the opportunity to come and visit you at short notice in the interest of fostering the agenda. Your Highness, the purpose of this meeting is Ubos, in their letter, requested for a partnership in the upcoming census program. Your Highness, at this juncture, I will invite the Deputy ED, who will subsequently introduce the team on the other side and thereafter take the lead in the discussions. Several Oweekitiibwa Nabongo, you are most welcome.
Mukamange, the Executive Director, Bureau of Statistics, Dr. Chris Mukiza. Yaba ndakusaba osiime nti nga Katuukiro bwe yakyusizaamu ku olulimi. Dr. Mukiza ye nawe naawo waba atandikire mu lulimi olukyuseemu akozese olunamwanguyira okutuusa ensonga de y'oli. Dr. Chris Mukiza, over to you to introduce the delegation and make remarks to the King. You're welcome.
Thank you, Godfrey. Your Majesty, the King of Busoga Kingdom, and your Cabinet, As Governor said, we are very happy that you honored our request to come and brief you about matters of statistics, and in particular, the forthcoming National Population and Census. I have come with a strong man delegation. I had expected to come with the ladies, but somebody got involved. He has just introduced himself. Next to him is Honorable Bernard Mlengani, a former MP of, I think you can now talk about yourself. Then next, so that you don't make any mistake.
Baba Bena Sabonga ne yambule. Ninze Bernard Mlengani, mutabane wo okuva ebukoli nganzalibwa mu luya lw'omugenzi Lameka Bernard Mlengani alambaire Butegwa, ndi mwidukulu wayo Konia Lwanga alambaire Buwunga, tuli bayiseegemula erira Kasumba Moya. Baba mbaire mukiise mu Bukoli Central 7th Parliament, naavaayo n'akiikirira Uganda mu lukiiko olw'amawanga ekiseera ekya gaali 5 ag'ebuvanjuba nkani East African Legislative Assembly, n'amala emirimu gyange mu 2017. Bwemaliriza emirimu egyo, ekitongole kya Ubos kyampwako omukisa n'akola nakyo ku boodi ekisanda kirala, n'amala emirimu gyange September nga 2023. Yebuli eno nekozesa mwene ayiduuziduuzi bandeta nga mukwano gwa commissioner okumuyamba ku mirimu gya census nga antaire ku kakiiko okulabirira engeri ebintu bwe biritambula nkani monitoring and evaluation. Mu kiti ekyo Baba yendidire yoli era ndi musagambuza eno okubaako emberiwo n'olusoose okuba emberiwo okuba bwe nakwaniriza ebugiri mu 2025. Neyanziza Baba.
So Your Majesty, like Godfrey, is also a statistician and has just completed his master's degree in statistics. Next.
Baba Zena Mzee Richard Kulumi Baliaino ndi Mwisekaima nize Secretary General wa Sekaima munsi yona yona ate nize RDC wa Jinja District Baba wa mpokulabira wa Jinja District era ni mutyami wa Bugembe wano aye usibuku bwange mbabulanga era tubakusozi waitambo gwe Sekaima yetuva kibasana kwa maiso gano lwalero nga twije ni timu eno nga teive RDC ni petwogerera government programs kusomesa abantu n'okobera abantu kujja maiso era mu programu ene ya census tulimu as chief monitors districts detubamu detulikoleramu n'okumobilizing abantu okumana omugaso ogwa census.
On 9th of May. That 9th of May is an important day, as you know. I have a hint that you could be a statistician also, so you understand what census night means. For the purposes of the audience, the census night is that reference night where all questions that will be given to the respondents will relate. So we shall be asking who stayed in this household on census night. Whatever happened on census night is the aspect that we want. So even if we come to the household after 10 days or 19th of May, because we have estimated that we cannot finish the whole country in one day, still our question, Omulamwa will be census night. Census night. So we shall ask who stayed in the household on the census night. Now, if a person is born, if a baby is born in the morning of May 10th, that person will not be counted, because he was not living during that night. And if a person passes away in the morning of 10th May, that person will be counted because that person existed at the census night. So we are taking a snapshot picture of what is happening in the country on 9th May, the night of Thursday. And that concept is important, and I wish to request the journalists to expound it much more. That's census night. Now, the first day of enumeration will be 10th on Friday, and the government has declared it a public holiday. So that the main reason that we can enumerate as many households as possible, but also be a recall period. When I come after 3 days or 4, you remember the night before public holiday. That's what you do is for you. The main reason is for recall when you don't come to your household on 10th of May. So Your Majesty, the government has granted people in Uganda, including your kingdom, a holiday to stay at home so that they can respond to our questions. And the questions are only 5. I saw one national newspaper reporting that we have 180 questions and sort of scares respondents. These newsmen are fond of sensitizing wrongly. We have only 5 questions. We may ask so many other subsidiary to probe, but we have to answer 5 questions. One is how many people are we in the country? The population, by age, sex, religion, and this time we are capturing clans also. I heard these people saying, and so we shall also be capturing the clans for the first time so that we can know who we relate to. I come from Kisoro district, but I also have a clan, and you will find that I have relatives in Busoga. So that one we shall capture it. So that's number one. The question is how many people are we? The second one is where are they, those people? These are now statistics on distribution. How many are in Busoga? How many are in Igenge? How many are in a certain ward, and how many are in the village? Similarly, how many are in Kigezi? How many are in Acholi? Like that. So where are they? That's the second. It's important to know where the people are, so that anybody giving services, including your kingdom, would know how to allocate resources and where. The third question is how those people we counted in the question 1, how they are living, the living standards, the conditions of their houses, and so forth. The fourth is what we own, what those households own, the assets. And the reason for these assets is to know the means by which these households access information. Because we know if people don't get information on programs that are being offered by government or cultural institutions or religious institutions, then they will not participate and they'll be left out. So we want to know whether you have a radio, whether you have a television set, whether you have a telephone to receive information, or whether you get information by word of mouth. If you have none of those and you say you hear of it, we know there are people who get information by word of mouth. And whether you have a bicycle or motorcycle or vehicle, this one is now the transport means to access services. That's the reason why you want to know what they own. Strictly for communication and transport of those people. Then the 5th question is where they get services from. Any social service, school, health facility, if there is any criminal justice, if the court is nearby, water and sanitation, if the source of water, how far is it, and so forth. So those are 5 questions, Your Majesty, and after you have gotten the answers, the country will have rich data and statistics to inform their planning and decision making. How far have we gone? We finished almost all pre-census activities that we planned successfully. Starting with developing the census roadmap, the budget, the training plan, procurement plan, setting up census structures from the national level to the grassroots. The topmost is the National Census Council, which is a cabinet subcommittee headed by Prime Minister. These ones give the political oversight and advocacy function of the census. Below is the National Census Steering Committee headed by the Permanent Secretary, Secretary Treasury, and all the PSCs, and the key leaders of private institutions. These ones are mainly for mobilization of resources and ensuring that those resources are utilized for the purpose they were made. Then below, we have the Board Census Committee, the Census Management Team, then the districts and cities have also census committees chaired by a cow or the city clerk for cities. And these committees are for mobilization and sensitizing public about census. Then we cascade those structures up to village level, LC1. Whereas we have done well at district level, I think we have not permeated the core of the population down. And this week, we are going to ensure that we speed up through the district administration to reach the people, to understand why we count people. It's strictly for statistical purposes, nothing else. And the information you get from your people, Your Majesty, will be kept confidential. We cannot publish any individual information. Information published is the aggregate form. To answer those 5 questions, not on an individual basis. So after having finished those, we've trained the trainers, and today we are on the 7th day of training the enumerators and their supervisors. These are our foot soldiers who will be coming to you. And they are doing field practices throughout the country now to see whether they have understood the concepts and application of the computer-assisted person interviewing devices. This census is going to be the first digital census. We are no longer going to come with huge files of paper and ask you and writing. We shall be using tablets. We get information from you, we put it in, it comes to headquarters, we channel. We channel the information very quickly. So instead of taking 2 to 3 years to get the output, within 1 month, my deputy has promised that he will give the country preliminary results. He has a huge task. After training, we are giving enumerators 1 day overnight to get accustomed to their environment where they will be deployed, so that on Friday morning they enumerate households. Enumeration will be during daytime. We don't want people to come and look in people's houses at night, because there are some people with the wrong motive who may penetrate and say we are census. So it is during the day. And every enumerator will be having an identification name tag written their name. And to ensure that that identification is not forged, we have put there a QR code. So if you suspect and you have a smartphone and you scan, you will see that QR code will bring you a census logo of people in the country. The census logo looks like that gentleman is putting on, and with my signature. And that one cannot be forged unless some letter gives to another person who would now be very responsible. We have distributed all the tablets to sub-counties. And Your Majesty, with your cabinet, we want to inform you that we are now almost ready. We are sorting out some few issues. Some people are complaining of technical connection and what have you, but we have teams in every sub-region that are doing troubleshooting. So by Friday, we shall have sorted out everything. The data will be coming in encrypted form so that you cannot easily tell who is the owner of the question. And we have created firewalls to our data services center so that nobody can penetrate and hack our data. I think that's a short brief I wanted to give you. We had written to your readers, to your administrators, about setting up the statistics office unit. Because we know kingdoms are a linchpin to socio-economic transformation in the country. And we cannot transform this country when we don't have evidence. It would be similar to like driving your car on a supersonic speed without headlights at night. Or trying to cross a road which is very busy when you have closed your eyes and think you will not be knocked. Chances you may be lucky, you may not be knocked. But chances are you'll be knocked if you are crossing the road without seeing. And our light is data and statistics. We know that you cannot manage something you can't measure. Government has invested 320.3 billion shillings to undertake this census. Even amidst scarcity, we have all the money. That shows you the importance government puts to statistics and the census. This is the only time in 10 years we had the opportunity to get as much information as possible that we have been yearning for, and then use it in other intersections. So, we want to echo our request that we set up a statistics office unit, which we shall support, like we have done for Uganda Kingdom. We shall start with the signing the memorandum of understanding, and then at a high level, together with your Katukiro, we develop a strategic plan for statistics for Busoga Kingdom. And we shall equip that office with one computer, a laptop. We shall also request you to nominate 2 statisticians from our kingdom to be attached to Uganda Bureau of Statistics for a period of 1 year, so that we can understand how we combine official statistics. And at implementation, we shall also attach 1 staff to work in the kingdom to implement the strategic plan. We are aware that you have 11 chiefdoms, and you penetrate up to the lowest level. So after census, like I promised to Uganda Kingdom, we shall give you some tablets to keep collecting administrative data from those kingdoms. We carried out shows that Busoga was the 4th poorest with poverty rates, following Karamoja, Acholi, Bukedi, and Busoga. And we hope with these other statistics are going to get your kingdom and government, you will see how to improve those indicators going forward. But there is also another good statistic from Busoga, or anybody from which I had not read. Gender-based violence, we are doing the best. It was reported that the women reported that they are the least violated in Busoga Kingdom. Compared to other regions of Acholi, which is the highest, I think Teso and other regions, you don't, I think you know how to keep ladies. Maybe we need to be cautious that the ladies don't violate men. So Your Majesty, that's our prayer, that you agree with our request and a unit, develop it, and help the kingdom implement the social transformation agenda of the kingdom and the country. Now, another prayer we have is that you accept to become the Cencus champion for this region, especially to now mobilize your people to support and participate actively. We know there are myths. The other day we were told that in your kingdom, in Mayuge, there is some religious sect called the Jinkalu. That is the gospel. That is saying people cannot be counted and so forth, and they are taking them to hide. And now with your word, I think they listen to you. It is, we are counting people for their own benefit, not for anybody. I think once they know that it is not government benefit, or the king or the chief statistician, then they will participate, because we want to know those 5 questions and see how interventions can be made by any stakeholder, especially religious, cultural, and government. And this time, we think there is no government, there is no kingdom. All of us, we have one agenda to make sure our motherland is better. We leave it in a better place than before it. That's the main thing. As champion, your cabinet, Central ambassadors, starting from today, the good thing is that you are now the last. They say, woman, take you are the last now to come in and crown it. And the drum and the crown it all. We want to have 100% coverage in this kingdom, given that your son is at the helm of this. I will also challenge them that I want my district to be the best. So we are competing. We are competing, and I want to see who wins who. But given that he has a cultural leader, me I don't have, most likely he may be the best in the coverage. So without too much ado, I beg to submit, Your Majesty. Excuse me.
Because what is going on now is we are going to be asking.
There's one thing I forgot. The last player, which I had forgotten, is to be number 1 as a of this kingdom. In this Igenge Paris or wherever you will be, so that you can identify people to enumerate you and your household, and then your folks can see that our king has been counted, and therefore you participate.
Thank you.
This is the time for us to ask any questions, or if anyone wants to supplement a little. This is the time, so that any question, even the media, you can ask.
When you're counting people, are you going to count them as part of Busoga? those who are based in other areas other than Busoga, when they get to answering the questions, is there a provision of asking for a tribe and etc. and etc.?
Yes, Your Majesty. That question will always be there. Your tribe, Busoga. Your tribe, there, wherever they are. And I know we have so many of them there in Busoga. So. The only count is the Busoga. The problem that people fear saying their tribe is when they are elsewhere. But they want to publicize that they all be proud and say who they are.
And is that a statistics of Busoga?
Is that one we shall know Busoga are this much.
Okay.
Bachiga are this much, Baganda are this much.
Okay.
That's part of the to be published.
Then the second one, still adding on to that, now that you've become digital, that is a very good innovation. How are you going to count those in the diaspora now that you're digital? Shall they be counted, or you're counting only people within Uganda now that you've become digital?
Yes, Your Majesty, this is the de facto census. So where we are counting people who are in the territory of Uganda.
Thank you.
So those in the diaspora, if they want to be counted, they ensure that they sleep in Uganda on 9th of May. If they sleep and go back. So if the Ugandan is here and traveling on Thursday during the day, that will not be in the statistics. But then the foreigner who will be in the country and have stayed in Uganda 9th of May will be counted.
Thank you.
So the camera will get those who are in the country at that time.
Thank you.
There, and what are they doing? That one, the number of Ugandan diaspora, we shall know it for purposes of knowing those who are there, but not in the total count.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Ambassador.
Thank you very much, Baba, for the name of and I want to recognize the ED and the Deputy ED and everybody here. I have two questions. The first one is in regard to housing. I'm a housing expert, so I always want to know how you are going to capture it. I remember in the last census, you were asking questions on the ownership of the household, the ownership of the house. Do you rent it or don't you rent it? And the type of house, whether it is permanent or not permanent. And I believe there will be a question around there to capture that information, because it's very important for us to know the housing in as far as census is concerned. Then the other question, I don't know whether you capture it under number 3, amongst the questions you said, about the livelihood of the people. How do they earn their income on a daily basis? Are they working in a formal government or position? Are they in the informal sector? How do they live? Because I saw you said, number 3, you are going to ask how people are living. I didn't understand whether, how are they living economically or whatever, because it's also very important for us to know the livelihood of the people, how they get their income, and in some way when we are planning, you would know who are the poorest of the poor and who is not poor. Thank you very much.
I think you know it very well. The questions we had last time have not been dropped, especially on housing, the ownership and the type of the dwelling house, whether it is mud and water, whether it's bricks, semi-permanent or permanent, all of those. And also the living condition of the people. One is looking at whether the house has a toilet, a flush toilet tin or a pit latrine, whether they have water inside or in the compound, or they move to a well, protected well, or they drink from dirty water, whatever. Then also the economic activity in which members of a household are engaged is a very important question in the census, where they are employed, whether they are own account workers or working for earning, whether in civil service or private sector, all of those questions are there. And in fact, one of the outcome we want to get from there is, now we want to know exactly how many people are living in subsistence economy. The ones the president is always talking about, chong. Those ones, the output will be there in these centers. If you say, I am working in my farm, there's nothing else that remains for me to sell and earn more money. Or if you say, I go to work, I have a business, but all the money I work for is eaten. I work in the government, but I don't have any saving, all of those. If you have less than 20 million per year, then you'll be in subsistence. So this one we shall now clearly answer the question of how many Ugandans are in subsistence and where they are per sub-region. Yes. But if I have forgotten something, you can point a question.
Counted in Kampala. By the time you're budgeting for ginger, will I be budgeted for ginger because I've said I'm from ginger in Kampala, or will I be budgeted for in Kampala? Okay. The planning of it, will I be planned for in Kampala, or will I be planned in ginger?
Thank you. Echaba polygamy abaina bachala banji. Actually muntu wabaina makago baida kuandika ndiga makaga gondi. Abo batwosulawo tukumakumana nti makagago nabali mbakweta batya. Obo beto otya. You have all the information even about you, but you are absent. We wasula we were not covered present. So you will appear as many times as your homes, but it should be only once where you are present. So that's what I'm saying to Bakoba Chitofunti Yaliwo or Yaliwo I Namakage. So that is one. Then two, the question of Kubanga Bakwaide Kampala. While Mugeni Maka somewhere. Normal statistics Kovanti be evening out. Whenever you have a company bacha never gemereyo. Enzo kwa bana baidi Busoga bacha bakochi na bagemereno. So the numbers to Uganda because it the council inze. But given it census night, we mutu kubagitegere. Attend to public holiday. Chabechu omuntu okuba nti osula wotero okuba. Bakwadirawo kabuli muntu awenti yetegeka okuba nti asula wotero okuba ombadirawo.
One more question. I now take the honor to invite His Highness to address our visitors and all the members. Thank you.
Executive Director of Ubos, Dr. Chris Mukiza, your Deputy, Mr. Nabongo, the Second Deputy Prime Minister of Kyabazinga Busoga, Cabinet Ministers present for Kyabazinga Busoga, our RDC for Ginger, Mr. Gulume, the Deputy RCC for Ginger City, the Southern Division Mayor, Mr. Ashraf Nasser, and all other invited guests. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Sanga irukubabona. I take this singular honor to welcome you officially to Kyabazinga Busoga at Igenge Royal Palace. Thank you for taking off time to be with us here today on matters of national importance. We are very grateful. We are delighted and happy that as of Kyabazinga Busoga, you have decided to come here officially today to give us a detailed brief about the forthcoming national census. And we've attained a lot of knowledge, we've learned a lot, and we shall pass on the same information to our people. To begin with, I shall take you through the structures of our Kyabazinga in brief, where we have the cabinet, which is the executive of Kyabazinga Busoga. We have the Busoga Luchiko, which is the parliament. We have the clan heads, known as abakulu bebika. We have the Chiefs Royal Council, where we have the 11 royal chiefs from the different chiefdoms that make up Busoga. Then we go ahead to have other parish chiefs and locals known as abemitala na abebisoko, plus other groups within. So we are basically a top to bottom approach, implying that as over Kyabazinga Busoga, we have our people at hand right from the grassroots to make life much more easy. Therefore, we are pledging ourselves and committing ourselves to work with you during this exercise that is going to take place in the next few days. And we are sure that we shall benefit a lot as over Kyabazinga Busoga vis-a-vis Uganda at large, because without proper planning, then nothing much can be done. So we are grateful that as Ubos, you decided to come up with this census after 10 years since we last had the last census. So we do believe that through your new innovations, even us as over Kyabazinga, we are going to benefit a lot in terms of planning for our people and over Kyabazinga Busoga. And we expect a lot from you, because without statistics and data, we can't do much. I take this opportunity to thank you for having accepted to set for us a statistical office at the Kingdom headquarters, where you'll train our people, because you talked about 2 statisticians, at least for a year, and as well you'll attach somebody to help us in terms of gathering and carrying out statistical data analysis and interpretation. So we shall be grateful as over Kyabazinga Busoga, and we shall go ahead to sign with you a memorandum of understanding such that the arrangement can commence as soon as yesterday. We know that Ubos has the capacity to carry out more trainings. Therefore, on behalf of Kyabazinga Busoga, we do believe that as we are going to strengthen further our relationships, we shall benefit a lot from you, apart from the forthcoming census, through various capacity building trainings and so forth. Since you are an organization which is built on capacity building and ensuring that you help various people in various sectors. So as over Kyabazinga Busoga, it would be great for us to partner with you, and we do engage in various projects that you do undertake. Then, moving on to the few days left, ntwala omukisa guno okubategeeza nti ng'obwa Kyabazinga ebulayo na ku ntono diti nga tuli ku bumulanga ye muli abantu baife, nti mwetanire era mutemu amaani mangi basobola okubabala kubanga bwe banaatubala kirijja kutuyamba okutegeera eningiza y'omu maka gye tulinayo, kirijja kutuyamba okuba nti bwe tuva awalala tusobola okuba ni proper planning ng'abantu, kirijja kutuyamba okutegeera bwe twemereire, kirijja kutuyamba okutegeera ebimu ku bintu bye tulina okwongeramu amaani tusobole okutuusa obusoga mu buntonje. Ntwala omukisa guno obutongole okubakubiriza mwena mwena nti ng'okutandika ku mwenda tube waka eky'omukisa omulungi gavumenti ku 10 olunaku erutuwaire nga public holiday tube waka batubale tusobole okuganirwa mu program z'edda gavumenti eridde okwidda emberi, ate niife ng'obwa Kyabazinga tusobole okuba nti tutegeera ebintu bye tunayongeramu amaani tusobole okutambuliza wala emirimu gyaife niimwe awo obusoga tusobole okubukulaakulanya era twongeremu amaani mu kuba ekitole. Era mu nsambo n'endala eyo tubakubiriza okuba abantu abayikaikamu, abantu abawulize era abantu abenda ebyenkulaakulana, nti mudine nakudde batuwaire 10 tuyikirize batubale tusobole okubaako bingi bye twetuusaako ng'abantu okutandikira mu maka gaife okusobola okufuna mu programu edda gavumenti niife ng'obwa Kyabazinga mutugondereze mu mirimu kubanga tuli kusaka ebintu kamaala mu ngeri ey'okuba nti ife ng'abasoga n'abannayuganda okutwaliza awalala twongera okuba mu mbeera ennungi era enkalamu. Ninze nga Kyabazinga wa Busoga era ndakusinzira ano mu Lubiri wane waife Igenge okutandika ku mwenda nkani Cencus night basobola okumbala okuba nti obwa Kyabazinga bwaife buno tubongera mu amaani ate n'okuba nti niife mu maka gaife eno yetuli tusobola okwetuusaako ebintu kamaala. N'olw'ensonga eyo tube bawulize era dina enaku donna tudiweeyo nga bwe tukola n'emirimu gyaffe egindi batubale tusobole okwongera eningiza mu maka. Era nga ndikiriza okuba number 1 champion mu kubala kuno okulijja okubawo kwa gavumenti mu Busoga eno yona yona. Tweyanziza ino tweyanzeege mwebale kutuwuliriza Busoga okwisanya n'amaani.
Tuli bankabino yenga twesimye ino olwalina lifono Busoga kibumba eyatuwa olw'ekirabe ky'ekikolo tweyimbenga Busoga tebenkerenga ensenense. Tuli bankabino yenga twesimye ino olwalina lifono Busoga kibumba eyatuwa olw'ekirabe ky'ekikolo tweyimbenga Busoga tebenkerenga ensenense. Abantu mwena mwena mu Busoga mwide tulisanyenga tukulembe lwise bantu nga n'omutwe gwaife male tufuna omwoyo mwamufu tugonzaganenga enina ya Uganda etebenkere. Tuli bankabino yenga twesimye ino olwalina ifono Busoga kibumba eyatuwa olw'ekirabe ky'ekikolo tweyimbenga Busoga tebenkerenga ensenense. Oh Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hands. United, free for liberty, together we'll always stand.
Aliwo kantu kokunwako katono kati twemale